there, very good evening and a warm welcome to the news live on Rupavahini ChannelEye. I'm Sharon Masqueenas.
And I am Tilina Udayaratna. First of all, we take a look at tonight's headlines. The construction of the Hambantota Logistics International Service Provider Centre begins. A threat of the Omicron variant entering the country. A consolidated national program to prevent a dengue epidemic. The government assures no substandard gas will be issued to the market. Next year declared as Narambamu, Sri Lanka for tourists. On your top local story this evening, the construction of the Logistics International Service Provider facility at the Magam Rukunupura Mahinda Rajapaksa port commenced today. The ceremony was held under the patronage of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. This facility will be constructed as the first bonded warehouse project at the Hambantota port. The Prime Minister unveiled the commemorative plaque symbolizing the constructions of the project, which spreads up to 1 hectare. The Ambassador of China in Sri Lanka, Chi Zhangong, was also present at the occasion. The Prime Minister also observed the vehicle transshipment process at the port. The Chief Executive Officer of the Hambantota International Port Group, Johnson Liu, said that the port has achieved the milestone of handling 500,000 vehicle units through this section during this year. The milestone was celebrated with a ribbon-cutting ceremony with the participation of the Prime Minister and the Chinese Ambassador. The Prime Minister also directed special attention on the ongoing high-tech equipment manufacturing zone by the Shenzhen Xingji Group and the tyre manufacturing facility of Ceylon Tyre Manufacturing Private Limited. The resources and manpower for tyre manufacturing have been provided through Sri Lanka. The project, being developed on a 55.8 hectare land, will be constructed under 2 phases. The total investment for this project is $600 million. Johnson Liu briefed the Prime Minister on the progress achieved at the port. Meanwhile, steps have been taken by the Hambantota Port International Group to develop the Lunugamvehera village into a city of hope. The relevant epistle of the project was exchanged between Minister Chamal Rajapaksa and the Chief Executive Officer Ministers G.L. Pires and Namal Rajapaksa. Parliamentarian Ajit Rajapaksa, Chairman of the Southern Provincial Council Somavansha Kodaguda, were present at the occasion.
Deputy Director General of Health Services Dr. Hemant Herath says that the country faces the threat of Omicron variant in the backdrop of the rapid spread of the variant across the globe. He pointed out that the COVID-19 complications and deaths can be reduced with the booster dose.
We know that everyone is now talking about the COVID Omicron variant and how it happens. Almost over 63 countries have now, according to WHO, have detected this virus in various parts of the world, and this has been continuously detected in almost all countries in the world. And as a result, the number of cases detected, probably it is not the number but the proportion of cases now gradually increasing, and that belongs to this new variant. And in Sri Lanka we have detected 1 case, and so far no more new cases reported, but we are continuing our surveillance activities at the airport as well as at the community, and this will one day or the other we might be able to detect if we are having this variant in Sri Lanka. The main important factor in regarding this variant is it can, according to the available information, it is said to be spreading faster than the Delta and other previous variants. As a result, if it comes into Sri Lanka and if it gets established in Sri Lanka, we might get larger or higher number of cases reported in Sri Lanka, and probably the burden on the health services also can increase. For Health Ministry is prepared to respond to that kind of increased number. However, most important aspect is to make sure that we are not going to spread the disease, and if we can do it, it is not aiming directly to the Omicron variant, it should be aimed at stopping the spread of the COVID-19 infection, for which the adherence to the health guidelines is the most important thing, and getting yourself immunized appropriately is the other important aspect. Thereby, even if this variant comes into the country, we will be able to curtail it and make sure that it is not going to have any large or major impact on the country. And we know that festive season is coming, and there are so many events that are being organized by many people all over the country, and I would like to request all these people who are organizing such events to make sure that health guidelines are adhered, and the number of people that should be invited or attended to this event should be limited to the numbers stipulated by the health authorities, and make sure that events are functioning according to the health guidelines.
The government decided yesterday to inoculate the Pfizer vaccine as the first dose for the children between the ages of 12 and 15 and the second dose for the children above the age of 16. The inoculation of the booster vaccine under the COVID-19 immunization program is successfully underway at present. The vaccination of the booster dose was conducted at the Diathowena premises in Colombo. The inoculation of the booster dose was conducted at the Piliyandala Medical Health Office from this morning. A total of 31,192 vaccine doses have been inoculated to the people in the country under the COVID immunization program. Accordingly, 15,958,080 persons have received the first dose of the vaccine, while 13,793,217 have received both doses. A total of 1,440,705 have received the booster dose thus far. Meanwhile, 582 COVID-infected persons were detected in the country today. The number of active cases in the country stands at 15,585. A total of 335 recoveries were reported today, increasing the total tally to 545,768. The Director General of Health Services confirmed 20 COVID-19 related deaths which had occurred yesterday. And stories at home, the government plans to implement a consolidated national program with the participation of all relevant stakeholders through the ministries in order to prevent any dengue pandemic situation in the country. The relevant proposal was tabled by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Accordingly, one officer in each establishment will be nominated for permanent maintenance of dengue prevention and control activities. Relevant content sharing due the district coordination committees and divisional coordination committee should be reviewed, followed with necessary actions. The responsibility of coordinating of provincial, district, divisional and grassroots level dengue prevention has been entrusted with the provincial governors. The prevailing laws applicable to the dengue epidemic should be updated. It has been proposed to entrust the responsibility of the coordinating all relevant activities pertaining to dengue prevention to the National Dengue Prevention Unit. The Cabinet of Ministers has granted approval for the proposal submitted by the President as the Minister of Defence to conceptually accept the database of the e-Grama Niladhari project instead of the previous households list method. The Cabinet of Ministers has also granted approval to the proposal tabled by Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa to identify and declare the urban and country areas in the Pradeshya Sabha areas. Accordingly, it was proposed to identify the relevant urban areas with the assistance of a consultancy committee and declare the identified areas under the Town and Country Planning Ordinance. The government has decided to declare the Lunugamvera National Park as Yala National Park No. 6. The cabinet approval was granted for the proposal furnished by Minister C.B. Ratnayaka. The Cabinet of Ministers approved the proposal presented by Ministers S.M. Chandrasena to publish the bill on the amendments to the Land Development Ordinance in the Gazette and submit to the Parliament for approval. The approval of Cabinet of Ministers was granted for the proposal presented by Minister of Justice to amend the Section 281 of Code of Criminal Procedure Act. Accordingly, the relevant section of the Code of Criminal Procedure will be amended not to impose the death penalty on a person under the age of 18 at the time of the offence.
State Minister Lasantha Alagiyawanna emphasises that no room will be left to issue unsubstandard gas varieties into the market. He made these remarks while addressing the media following an event held in Colombo. State Minister Lasantha Alagiyawanna said that the Consumer Affairs Authority has not yet granted approval to unload the gas consignment which had arrived at the port on last Saturday. The analysis report furnished by the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation from the samples obtained by the officials of the Consumer Affairs Authority, Standards Institute, Accreditation Board and the ITI Institute has already been submitted. He added that the Intech Institute has also submitted their analysis report in this regard. An expert committee will provide the final decision in this regard after studying the analysis report. The government has no intention in bringing down substandard gas consignments. He said that the government expects to take accurate decisions based on technical details and safeguard the consumer. Well, that's it from local news. We'll be back with
more news coming up for you. A project with the objective to provide drinking water for residents in 5 villages in Hinguraggoda Divisional Secretariat Division in Polonnaruwa was commenced. The event was held with the participation of State Ministers Sanath Nishanta and Roshan Ranasinghe. A total of 1,458 million rupees has been allocated for this project. The project was initiated in accordance with the requests made by the residents of the area during a discussion with the village program of the President. Accordingly, 1,500 families in 5 villages including Kitulutua, Singhagama, Hataraskotua and Hinguraggoda Divisional Secretariat Divisions will be benefited for this initiative. Project engineer R.I. Jayasinghe of the Irrigation Department said that the construction of the Anicut of the Ellavava Reservoir project has been completed up to 40%. The project has been initiated under the Vari Saubhagya project under a concept of Minister Chamal Rajapaksa. A total of 1,532 million rupees has been allocated for this project. Another phase of the Dayak Nagana Siyak Nagara project to develop 118 small towns in the country was commenced near the Radhavana three-way junction. The project was commenced with the participation of State Minister Nalaka Godaheva. 20 million rupees has been allocated for the project.
Many farmers have involved in the production and use of organic fertilizer. Farmer W.K. Wilfred residing in Gangeyaya belonging to the Ambilipitiya Mahavali Authority has been able to produce 30,000 kilograms of organic fertilizer. He has taken steps to sell 1 litre of liquid fertilizer at a concessionary rate of 250 rupees. He has also been able to produce liquid fertilizer and fungicides required for floriculture. The farmers in Bandumbala in the Madirigiri Divisional Secretariat Division have commenced paddy cultivation through traditional methods using only organic fertilizer, strengthening the national program to achieve a toxic-free country. They have decided to use traditional means in paddy cultivation. 102 organic fertilizer projects are underway in Asikulam in Vaunia under the program Toxic-Free Food Production. They have indicated that the farmers are much interested in using organic fertilizer. Farmer Chintaka Prasad in Ulugama in Uva Paranagama has been successful in maintaining an organic fertilizer production plant. He earns a considerable revenue from the sale of organic solid and liquid fertilizer.
The Ministry of Tourism has decided to declare next year as Narambamu Sri Lanka for the foreign tourists. The intention of this initiative is to bring down more foreign tourists in the upcoming year. This project was initiated under the 5-year Global Communication Program. Minister Prasanna Ranatunga said that a coordination secretariat is expected to be established. The cabinet approval has been granted for the initiation of this program. Accordingly, a unit to manage local promotions and advertisements and agency, a research center, has been established. Through this initiative, 25 sectors of the capital market in Sri Lanka tourism will be covered. The minister said that an agency framework consists of international public affairs firms and destination agency firms will also be established. The tourism industry in the country is expected to earn a revenue of $10 billion by 2025. The promotional campaign will be conducted in many countries, including United Kingdom, Germany, France, China, Australia, Russia and the United States. A total of 24,773 tourists have arrived in the country during the last 12 days. A total of 129,762 tourists have arrived since reopening the country for inbound tourists.
The case filed against former Defence Secretary Hemasiri Fernando over the Easter Sunday attack was taken up for hearing on the 8th day today. The case was taken up before a three-member panel of justices Namal Balalle, Aditya Patabandige and Mohammad Irshadeen. Evidence was recorded from former State Minister for Defence Ruwan Vijayawardena under the direction of State Deputy Solicitor General Sudarshan De Silva. Former State Minister Vijayawardena said that even though he assumed duties as the relevant subject minister, the tri-forces and the intelligence agencies were not under his purview. He further informed the courts that he had assumed the role of acting defence minister in a couple of occasions when the president was abroad, yet in several occasions he had received the relevant appointment letter after the president had returned from his foreign engagements. Responding to the queries raised by the Deputy Solicitor General, former State Minister Ruwan Vijayawardena said that both former Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe and himself were not convened to the Security Council meetings following the constitutional crisis in 2018. Director of the State Intelligence Service Nilantha Jayawardena had not relayed the information over the Easter Sunday attack prior to the incident. The former State Minister also said that the apprehension of Zahran was not discussed in the Security Council meetings in which he attended, and further said that he learned about the explosion occurred in Kathankudi over the newspapers.
Dr. Nihal Jayathilaka assumed duties as the new chairman of the Employees Trust Fund yesterday. The ceremony was held at the main office of the Employees Trust Fund. At present, 2.6 million beneficiaries are registered with the Employees Trust Fund. In the meantime, 79,000 employers are also registered with the Trust Fund to provide the relevant financial contributions. Dr. Nihal Jayathilaka previously served as the chairman of the Sri Lanka Standards Institute. He also served as the chairman of the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation. Dr. Nihal Jayathilaka also served in the Health, Economic, Local Government and Provincial Councils ministries in the capacity of Ministry Secretary. He also worked as Health Services Director of the Western Province and Additional Secretary in the Medical Services Division of the Ministry of Health. He was also the chairman of the Sri Lanka Institute of Provincial Governance and chairman of the Provincial Governing Credit and Development Fund. He previously served as a member of the director boards of Ceylon Electricity Board, Urban Development Authority, Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority, Sri Lanka Administration Development Institute, Water Supply and Drainage Board and Sri Lanka Transport Board. The annual athletic championship organised by Veterans Athletic Association of Sri Lanka was concluded recently at the Sukadadasa Stadium in Colombo. The competitions were divided into age categories for each 5 years from 35 to 90 years. Accordingly, 20 events were consisted in the tournament under both men's and women's categories. The tournament, which was scheduled last year, was postponed this year due to the COVID-19 outbreak. Many local and foreign athletes competed at the tournament. Sri Lanka Transport Board was able to become champions at the annual Jana Satuseva athletic meet with 310 points. The athletic meet was held at the Sukadadasa Stadium in Colombo recently. More than 500 athletes representing 31 institutes in the public sector took part in this meet. The 69th National Badminton Championship is currently underway at the Sukadadasa Indoor Stadium in Colombo. The tournament will conclude on the 19th of December. Many national-level athletes are taking part in this event.
The Navy Seahawks Football Club has taken the lead in the points table of the Sri Lanka Super League Football Championship. The Blue Stars Football Club remains in second place. Several league matches were played in the last weekend. The match between Blue Eagles and the Renown Football Club were held at the Colombo Racecourse. Renown was able to clinch a 1-0 victory in the match. Another match was played between Navy Seahawks and Army Defenders. The match ended in a draw with each scoring 2 goals. The Ratnam Football Club competed against the Colombo Football Club. Colombo managed to win the match by 4 goals to 1. The match was played at the Colombo Racecourse. The match between New Youngs and Red Star was played at the Colombo Sugathadasa Stadium. The match ended in a draw with each scoring 4 goals. The matches in the 6th week of the championship will be held from tomorrow until the 17th. The championship is organised by the Sri Lanka Football Federation. Well, that's a wrap on tonight's Rupavahini English News. Join us once again tomorrow. Until then, thanks for watching. Take care. Good night.